All right, welcome to tonight's school board meeting. Just as a quick announcement, school board meetings are recorded, both videos in the back and audios up in the ceiling. So please keep your talk in the audience unless you're called upon by the board to speak. By staying here in the room, you're agreeing to be recorded. Okay. Mr. Chairman.
Call the order. Flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And that was 1830. Okay, roll call. Neil. Present. Grant. Present. Susie.
Present.
Michael.
Present.
Myself. And the Dr. Beth.
Present.
Okay. No additions or. Right. Mine's not different than yours. Okay, any public?
Nope.
The public comment? Still need to read it, no?
No,
Nope,
no, no.
no. Okay. Okay, so first thing. Recognition. Volunteer recognition.
So tonight, Kevin Wilson is gonna introduce one of our amazing volunteers. A couple weeks ago was volunteer week. And we have an amazing volunteer who spends a ton of time with our kids at the high school. And if you haven't met him, I'm excited for you to have the opportunity to meet him tonight and learn a little bit more about what he does for our kids. So many days of the year. I'm not sure you're not there every day, but Kevin's gonna tell us just a little bit more and introduce him to you, and then we can all recognize him.
Okay, well, thank you for having me tonight. Earlier in the school year, and I asked Justin about, I have this amazing volunteer at high school. I've seen him there every day. Thick and thin, every day he's there working with our kids, and Justin goes, and I think this October, he goes, well, there's April, there's volunteer month. So, all right, so I would just want, and so April comes, and now we're here with Mr. Callahan. He came to school looking up to volunteer, and got in connection with Mr. Jeske, and Mr. Jeske said yes. Next thing you know, 3 years later, he's working with our kids. So with that, it's easier to show some things that he's done for our kids. So he's in the wood shop, metal shop, and he's a great mechanic. So when we talk about lifelong learning, we talk about working with our hands, we talk about skills that you take on. He pushes kids to think about, instead of just making something, he'll make a prototype. So that's why I brought things in tonight, just so we had a conversation. So he'll talk to a kid about a table. We're gonna make a table. Well, that's easy, draw it up. Well, what kind of wood joints? Well, on this one, we could do a butt joint, we can do a lap joint, but then he picks a crown joint, a castle joint to put on this full lap. So he makes a prototype for them so they can see it. Because if you tell a kid to do a full lap joint on a project and you draw it for them until they can see it. So this is kind of work he'll do for the students. But then the other thing that's, and there's a lot of examples of that, but last year, this seems like a real simple project, but he was going by all the scrap wood that we have because kids cut things off. Instead of like having people burn them, take them home and burn them, he said, well, there's a great idea for a coat hanger. And he saw it somewhere, but you know, it mounts to the wall and these flip down and there's different versions. So this is his original one, but he had to make a prototype in his world so students actually see it. So this is one that's around the shop. So when they do it again, they can see example. So this morphed into different ones to bigger ones. So students have the idea of what he's trying to get across to them. They're working on a cheese board right now. So just different projects. So what I appreciate about him is his dedication to Rochester. He's been in our district for 50 years. He moved here in 72, I think. 70. And Sites for a quick move to Centralia. He's been around here the whole time, so I really appreciate all the time he puts in. I wanted the board to see kind of a deep dive into what he does for our students because it's easy to stand, well, he helps our students. Well, no, he helps our students become skilled at whatever tasks they're gonna take on. I just brought wood examples, but it's the same in the metal shop. He's great with metals and he's a great mechanic. So I wanted to thank him and public thank him. So thank you, Mike, for everything you do.
Well, thank you.
And the TP department went out and got him a nice Carhartt sweatshirt with our logo. Extra large, that's when you eat all those donuts. That I promised.
And we also have a certificate to give, you. So.
Oh.
Yes, and we'd
You want
love
to
to get
stand
a
up?
picture, yes. Come on up, yes.
Well, I gotta admit something. I wear coveralls all the time
Yeah, he does.
because I don't have a waist. And when I stand up, my pants fall down. If I had on like.
This stuff.
Yeah. Why you get up?
The other thing is, I'm really hard of hearing, and I didn't say hear a word you said. Would you repeat that?
He has a sense of.
Wait for it.
Get over here, Mr. Wilson.
Yeah.
There we go. Yep. Got it?
Perfect, thank you.
All right.
They go now.
You are the person being recognized. If you
There
would
they
like,
go.
but we appreciate that you. Thank you for coming. And thanks for what you're doing for our kids.
Okay.
And I just
Yeah,
want to
you know,
clarify,
I gotta say one thing,
3 years, right?
huh?
You've been working with our kids for 3 years.
2.5.
Just about every day. Okay.
I'm in my junior year. Yeah, the thing is that it's for the kids, but I get a lot out of it. And when one kid, it doesn't matter, one a year, if they see the light and all of a sudden I got it, they take off.
It makes all the difference,
Oh,
doesn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
I know why you guys teach. So,
Well, we're glad you're here teaching with us because you
Yeah.
really are. So thank you.
Okay.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Didn't believe anybody would do, thank you.
I know that.
You know what?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I totally do. Yes.
Oh, my God.
Now we have to go.
Now you get to get back to work.
Ouch. Okay, great. There we go.
Hey, Kev, thanks for bringing him in too. That's great.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. Oh, I'm gonna look at those results.
Okay, consent agenda. Do you have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second? Excellent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I missed one thing. Any discussion? All right,
There we go.
okay. No opposed? Motion is passed. Okay. Who we got first? Oh, excuse me.
So I would just like to take a moment to say that I can vouch for everything that Mr. Wilson just said about Mr. Callahan. I did take woodshop last year in second semester. Jeski focuses on the basics of woodshop, which is, that is the class, but Callahan really focused on the nitty gritty stuff that just made the whole entire project a lot better. I made a bunch of Mother's Day and Father's Day presents for my parents, and I did make the coat hanger, which I hope he enjoys.
Yeah.
So
He's getting another one this year.
I didn't take it this year. But he really did make that class a lot better. Okay, so now into sports. Fast Pitch is doing really good. They're getting a lot of wins, making them 8th in 1A right now. So doing really, really good. Track just had their senior night tonight. Pretty sure we just won the first meet. Okay, we just won our first meet tonight. We're going against Hoquiam and we're recognizing Gunnar Morgan, me, Mercedes DuPont, Erica Leggett, and Loden Coombs at senior night. Boys soccer is 2nd in league and they're bringing home lots of wins, which shows by their ratings. Girls golf and baseball is playing hard and representing our high school pride. I was kind of hoping Justin would explain a little bit more on baseball, but I'm sure he's got stuff. We had an ASB meeting today and the whole entire team is recognizing that our school pride is raising so much for this year versus last year. I can see that most of our students and peers, and just staff in general, like their happiness is raising from last year. So our high school is improving, I can say that. So that's it, short.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Questions? Thank you. When are you gonna have the next Krispy Kreme donut?
Okay, so plant sales this weekend.
That was another thing I was gonna ask you. I say that on the bulletin board somewhere.
Yeah, sorry. Plant sale is tomorrow, it starts tomorrow through Saturday.
Is it open in the morning or?
It's open.
3 to 5 tomorrow.
3 to 5?
Friday is open at 8.
You should get the Krispy Kremes that helps FFA get to state.
When are those being sold?
Huh?
When are those being sold?
I think Friday.
Gotcha.
When?
Friday,
At the plant sale?
yes. It's a combined no, you're good. It's a combined fundraiser. So the Krispy Kremes are for the team that's going to get to state, and then plant sale is for the greenhouse specific thing. So they're both fundraisers just for different parts of FFA.
Great.
Okay.
But you should get the Krispy Kremes.
I don't think you have to worry about selling to him.
You should get $5.
Oh. Are you gonna graduate?
I'm gonna graduate.
Are you sure?
I hope so.
Okay. That's good.
June 8th.
Okay.
How's the track team doing?
Track team's doing pretty good. As I said, I think we did win our first track meet today. We have quite a few people that are ranked in state, like 1A altogether, which is pretty cool. So Mercedes DuPont is 2nd in the 200 in 1A, which is amazing, honestly.
Awesome.
We have a lot of really strong athletes in track. I don't know if he knows yet.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not on athletic.net yet.
Okay, anything else?
No.
No? Okay. Think you're up.
Business report.
Business report.
Oh. Well, I feel that I'm earlier than normal.
It's somewhere in here.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm at the end. This is.
There we go, Joe.
All right. So our April student FTE decreased 4 students to just 2,000. And we finally hit the mark in the year that we actually have less kids than we budgeted for. It's only by 1. Budgeted when the year ends. We have 70 students participating in Running Start and 33 are Running Start only. 35 students. Education and students able to participate in the dropout re-engagement program. So here's a visual of where our student FTE is. So we are about where we were during 21-22.
Yes. The declines. Pretty significant, 40 kids or so. Are you hearing that from neighboring schools as well?
I think what I hear in schools is there is not anything normal anymore. Month to month, you get what you get and really hard to predict.
It's gonna happen for a while. It's not
I
happening
didn't say that.
about something.
Very much
Just
distracted.
ignore-
The computer, I should say, is trying to do multiple things.
The end of March, our fund is 2.4 million. 846,000 of that was restricted over revenues, and 1 was available to commit to the board fund balance policy. Fiscal year is 58% of the year complete. Our revenues are right at 57.5 and our expenditure. And then a breakdown of all of our funds or general funds there at 2.4 million, capital projects at 3.6 million, debt service at 826,000, ASB at 616,000, and transportation vehicle at 254,000.
And next up is the audit report.
I don't have that with me, but I could memorize an audit. So we completed our 23-24 audit, and they reviewed federal program compliance and financial statement compliance. So they reviewed for federal programs ESSER dollars and child nutrition. And then for the financial statements, they review our financial statement supplemental schedules and the notes to the financial statements. And they issue opinions in both of those areas on compliance and internal controls. So they assess if we have good internal controls in place to identify areas of non-compliance. And then they test the balances in the statements to see if they're accurate and complete. So we received unmodified opinions, which is the good opinion, for federal programs and financial statements, and we're found to have proper internal controls in place in all those areas. So they will be back next year. We get a financial federal audit every year. And then every other year we get an accountability audit where they just look at state and local policies and laws. So next year will be the full audit.
A full.
Mhm.
But once again, acknowledgement of the good work that's being done.
Yeah, getting clean audits like this is not
It's-
easy.
no.
And it's quite amazing.
Yes, it is.
Like,
Yes.
Consistently.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and they did acknowledge, because we did get a federal finding last year that we were in complete disagreement with, and the federal agency has since responded and said that we were in compliance, and the state auditors acknowledged in that report that they were wrong and we were right.
Okay.
Mike wasn't here to hear that. You got any questions? I got a question. Yeah. Neil, got a question? No. Oh, no. So during my interview with whatever that lady's name is from the state.
Yep.
A general question, I can't remember exactly how she asked, but she asked me, where do you think any shenanigans could be going on?
Convention of internal controls.
Yeah.
Slash.
And
shenanigans.
I'm like, I couldn't tell her. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
And she said, well, ASB is, I guess, is one
Mhm.
that could be. So how do we mitigate that to make sure that since she brought ASB up, how do we, mitigate that any issues that could come up in the,
So we have an ASB secretary in the building who does reconciliations, attends trainings, knows all the rules, oversees fundraisers. Because the risk with ASB is coaches are involved and advisors, and there's just so many hands out there doing so many different things. So just making sure they're turning in the right paperwork. And then I do a monthly review of all the ASB activity as well. So those are our internal controls that we have in place.
okay,
Also, in addition to all of that, teaching and helping the students
Mhm.
do what they're supposed to be doing correctly. And you've done a nice job of making sure that's done.
because the kids play a part in that,
Mhm.
right? Yep.
So they have weekly meetings and review all the expenditures that happen in their buildings, approve transactions before they can be spent, approve fundraisers. Yep, in the end, it's the kids.
Jill, are there standards, like, would they call us out if that balance got too great?
No.
Or too low?
No.
They wouldn't mind.
No.
Anybody else? No?
I guess I do have a question.
Yes,
When they do this audit, is that something we have to pay for?
yes.
And do we have to pay taxes for this?
Pay taxes on top of the invoice, where it's a professional service, so there's no sales tax on it.
Oh, goody. Finally, something we don't pay tax on.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Jill.
You're welcome.
We go in order of, who's on the,
It's principals next.
yeah, that's what we go in order.
Yes. So we're not going in order with principals, so it's a different order tonight. Tonight, we are actually,
And they get to go first.
I really did think you were going first, but I'm happy. Her name's first.
Bill is going first tonight, and he'll be followed by Mr. Theonis, and then we will have Ms. Lincoln, and then bringing it all in for the big close is gonna be Mr.
No.
So thank you, Mr. Moss.
Well, go ahead and flip that. Let's get right to it. So our WSIF scores came out finally, and we love that fact, but they don't come out until, it was interesting because they initially said they'll be out in mid-March. And so data geek that I am, mid-March, twice a day. Is it out yet? Is it out yet? Is it out yet? They didn't come out till near the end of spring break. I was actually out of state, hadn't been checking daily, but I did get an email, a much appreciated email from my superintendent. Hey, they're out just in case you haven't seen them. So I was like, yes, Sunday night, spring break before I came back, got my WSIF scores. And so there's good news and there's some news of stuff that we still need to work on.
Do you want to give a quick overview of
Yes.
what it is?
I do. Just a second.
Okay.
So our WSIF is the Washington State Instructional Framework. It's where we get graded on a whole bunch of different things. And we get an overall score, and then we get some individual area scores. And what you see right now is the 3-year trend of the overall scores. And this is made up of our SBA passing rates, our SBA growth rates. You know, how much are we helping our kids to improve? Even the kids that don't pass, even the kids that pass that do really well, how much are we helping those kids improve? Because we can't just ignore growth for, just deal with just passing. It deals with attendance, a wide variety of things. At the high school level, it deals with graduation rate gets thrown into there. And so there's a whole bunch of things that factor into these scores. And when you're looking at these scores, the blue-gray is good, orange is not good, and the darker the orange, the worse. But I want you to see that in most of the areas, we have been on a continued improvement trend. And even in the area of 2 or more races where you see 7.68, 7.68 is an incredibly high number. Trying to keep up with that 7 point, now you give me a number that's anything above 7, and I'm going to celebrate that. It might go up and down, but stay above 7. That is going to be an absolutely amazing number as an overall score. And so you get into trouble when your numbers are below 2. We have an area that is still below 2 that needs some help. We also need to do some more work around English language learners. You need to know that this data is from last year. And so it's finally put together by the state and sent out, but it's from last year. And we had an idea that this was going to be an issue for us at the middle school. And so we sat down, if you remember, 2 of our SIP goals are related to our English language learners, Hispanic Latino students, English language learners, and our students with disabilities. We're working on that a lot this year. So we're looking forward to improving that information for next year. But you can see our all Hispanic, Latino, white, ELL, ML, and low income have improved. Our 2 or more races are very high, and we have work to be done in a couple of other areas. Next one. There's talk sometimes of, what was it like before COVID? I know we don't like to use the COVID word sometimes, but I wanted you to see. So 2019, that's before COVID. So a year before we closed down. And you can see what the numbers were at RMS. Our all number was 5.25. We're up 1.2 since then.
Our Hispanic Latino was 4. We're up almost 50% since then. Our two or more races up almost 2 points. Our white up over 1.25 points. Our low income up almost 1.5 points since before COVID. People will say, well, things aren't as good as they were before COVID, this and that. You know what? We're doing better now than we were before COVID. And I wanted you guys to see that. All right, next, please. As a matter of fact, so student growth percentiles, they take kids that get the exact same score throughout the state in a bucket. So for instance, a kid gets a 500 on the SBA test scores. They take all the kids that got 500 exactly, stick them in a bucket, and then say, let's see how they do this year. So that's how they did 2 years ago. Let's see how they do the next year. How good did the teachers take that kid, similar kids across the state, and how good did your school improve those kids in that area? And we're gonna put them in scale groups by 10 percentiles. So a 1 means you did not do very well at all. A 10 means you were absolutely amazing. Anything above, 5 and 6, that's right in the middle. 7 is darn good. 8 is really good. 9 is almost unheard of. And 10 is virtually unheard of. Our all for English language arts is an 8. Our Hispanic Latino students growth rate is an 8. Our two or more races is pretty much unmatched around the state. Our low income is 7. In math, 9s across the board for all of our students, for our Hispanic Latino students, for our two or more races students, for our low income students. If you have students that want to grow and learn and get better, whether they are kids who were doing really poorly or kids that were doing amazingly well before, we can help them to be better. And compared to the rest of the state, this is where we are on a scale of 1 to 10 in those areas. Way up there. Loving it. Good. There's my academic stuff. Oops, sorry. Don't have a ton more opportunities to talk to you guys, so I wanted to bring something up that's been very important to me over the years and struck itself again this year. We all know that we've got some budget restrictions. We all know that there have been challenges. I was talking to my sister who has a kid in a school about 25 miles away. And my niece happened to get cut from volleyball. She's a younger class kid. And so she ended up getting cut. She hasn't done much in volleyball and that sort of thing. But in our school, this is the number of kids that are participating in each sport throughout the year. And I want you to see that in our school, when we run into a situation where we have more kids than we anticipated, board direction, superintendent direction, we hire another coach. We don't cut kids that aren't necessarily as good as some other kids from our sports. We create another team and we add a coach. 67 girls playing volleyball. Not 25 or 30 on a varsity and a JV team. 67. Boys basketball, 46. 48 kids out wrestling. 47 kids in football, 15 kids in cross country. We just hired a track coach. We got 61 kids out for track. We hired a track coach. Things like that give kids opportunities to grow, learn, and develop and get skills. It motivates them to want to come to school. It motivates them to get up in the morning. And I really appreciate the work that you guys have done to make sure that that continues to happen because we love giving our kids opportunities. So when I hear people talk about budget cuts and how, arts programs and band programs and stuff like that are getting cut, we have more band program opportunities, music opportunities at Rochester Middle School now than when I got here. We're not cutting, we're adding because the demand is there. And when the demand is there, you guys have met that need. And I appreciate it. So that's mine. Thomas got to have a question.
Question? Okay, slide number 2.
Yes. All right.
I just need, I'm trying to
Is that 2 or is that 3?
No, well, mine says 2. Yes, that one right there.
Yes, sir.
So I'm just trying to understand the slide.
Sure.
So when you, in the negativity here, under English language learners.
Yes, sir. Mhm.
okay?
We're not doing well enough.
We're not doing well on this, but what I'm trying to understand is primarily in this area, we have Hispanics who need to learn.
For us at our school, and for a lot of schools, it's not this way. For us at our school, the vast majority of our students that are ELL are Spanish-speaking students.
Okay, so why is that? Where'd it go? So why is the Hispanic Latino higher in that part, but this low?
Great question. So the vast majority of our Hispanic Latino students are not English language learners. They speak English just as good as you and I.
Mhm.
They don't fit that category. So they're not struggling. They're not brand new to English. This is going to be students whose families maybe speak Spanish in the home, and have since childbirth, families who are newcomers, families who are maybe comers here, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, what have you. The Hispanic Latino race it's 30% of our students. The English language learner number is less than 10% of our students.
It's just, I'm just trying to wonder why
Sure.
they broke.
How come they're split up?
Yeah, how come they're
Absolutely.
split up? I can understand English language learners. I've been to people's houses and they speak Cambodian. That
If
would
they
be
were here, they
English
would be
language
English
learners.
language learners.
So, and I don't know any other one,
Yeah. We have lots of students, we have a lot of students who are very fluent in English and Spanish. I want them to come back and teach for us. I tell them, you guys, trust me, come back. You will have an advantage.
that was my question for you.
So to add to that, who makes up the population of the two or more races?
Anybody who is two or more races. So there could be people in multiple categories. So if you have somebody who is Native American and Caucasian family, as parents, if you have somebody that identifies as Hispanic and Cambodian as a family, there are two or more races.
So how do you determine that? So when they come into the school?
They make the decision, we don't.
Okay.
We don't tell them, sorry, you're more Hispanic, so you don't get to count as two.
Right,
for a
I'm
lot
just
of our-
wondering how
Yeah,
that's determined.
Absolutely.
So when they enroll their student, that's when you
Yes,
determine
ma'am.
that. Okay.
Are you gonna talk about the same topic?
No.
And different, okay. So, I don't have a question, I very much appreciate you always having the visual aids and so forth. But I think there's a couple headlines here. One is our students are doing better than they were
Yeah.
before COVID. And the other is that we accommodate the interest of our students, particularly you're talking middle school, but
Sure.
and so I think we need to think about how we communicate that out to our community, because
Yeah.
that's not the messages they're always getting. And I thank you for bringing them up. That's the same part.
Absolutely.
On slide 3.
I don't know numbers.
That one?
This one, okay.
I love that, the growth change, so the growth measured from, except for 2024, is that from 2023 to 2024, the growth?
Yes. Yeah, remember, we're using it's data that went through last year. So, yep.
So this is fantastic, but we talk about pre-COVID and where we are now, we still have kids on average, math scores may be lower than they were in 2019, but we're growing them at a faster rate. Is that?
We're beating the state average.
Oh, yes.
We are improving our kids' skills rapidly, faster than most of the state is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not wonderful here,
You're right.
in some areas, but yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we're,
Overall,
the whole state,
there
the
is
whole country is struggling,
Yes,
but we're improving faster.
yes.
Yes.
We are recovering faster in Rochester than other places around our state.
So that's the headline.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, more than
So-
doing better.
Yeah.
Recovering faster.
Yeah, we're still not caught up to where we were.
Yeah.
But
In some areas,
some are
I
good.
can get you that, but that again.
This is tremendous. And I love the visual.
Are we allowed to ask questions?
No, not at this time, but
Sit next to you, you can
there
ask
you
the
go.
question.
Yes, thank you.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Ms. Moss. All right,
And
next-
your retirement is,
Is
not.
Denied.
Denied.
You voted.
So before I start, we live in Ocean Shores. My daughter, our first year here, went to North Beach. In that year, her data regressed. She went backwards. versus where she was when we were in Alaska. She's been a student in the Rochester School District just over a year and went from being behind, she was ahead when we hit Ocean Shores. She was a year behind when we left. And she just finished her iReady test. She's back. And in fact, she's ahead of where she should be as an 8th grader now. So, and that's in a year at the middle school with the middle school staff. So I just wanted to put a parent side on that, and I'm thankful for the work that they do over there. And it affirms why I want to be a part of the Rochester School District, because look at the amazing work that they do every single day. And I truly appreciate getting my daughter back. So, all right, so I have similar data, but I paint different pictures because I don't get to use growth data. We don't do the SBA every year like they do in the lower levels. And so our primary measures are graduation rate, attendance rate, and then our 10th grade ELA and math scores. And I put this on the board. If you look at the arrow with the yellow around it, that line there is a measurement tool used by the state saying, if you're below that line, we're watching you. And if you look at all of our numbers, we are a point over where they're paying attention to us. And this is our first year that we're above that line. 2 more years and they forget who we are. And we're going to continue to do that. And before we jump to the next slide, there's a second arrow. I want you to remember that. That's the ELL group. Last year, our SIP secondary goal was focusing on ELL kids. All right, next slide. These are all of our kids. As a school as a whole, we have gone up since 2022 in measurement. Our Hispanic Latino has kind of stagnated, and we're trying to get that back moving. 2 more races. I can't explain what that is, although my gut is you're measuring kids. So if you had some really high flyer kids in 2022 that were 2 more races and they left, and then they were replaced by students who weren't as gifted, that might reflect that a little bit. I have to dig deeper into that and find that information. Our white students are on the upward trend, but this is the one I really want to point at. We had a 50% increase in our measurement with our ELL students. And that pulls us up out of the measurement zone. And another high point there is our SPED students have not grown, but we've kept them, and we're starting, and that's why this year's SIP goal was focused on our SPED students. And so we're hopeful that our data will bear out the same kind of growth with our students with disabilities as we did this year with our ELL kids. And one of the thing that's, and it's probably holding all of us back, this attendance thing. I went in and Will taught me how to use this, and I'm looking at it and I'm seeing all our scores are really good, and then attendance is like an anchor around our neck pulling us down. If we could get our attendance just average, we'd be blowing things out of the water. Absolutely. The attendance thing is just absolutely killing us. That's the one thing that we can't get solved, and we're working at our school on it really hard. All right, next slide. This is awesome. So what you see on the right, these are dual credit courses. So these are students that are getting high school credit and a college credit while they're enrolled at Rochester High School. So this is pre-COVID. 18.5% of our students had completed a dual credit course. Come back 6 years later, we have 65% of our students participating in dual credit courses. So there's a couple of pieces here. One, our staff is working really hard. They're coming in and they're putting the time in and working at getting connected through the university and through Centralia College, Eastern Washington, Central College, and getting their work approved by them. And the other piece is sitting right here, Mr. Black. There is a ton of work to be done to put us in a position to be a dual credit institution and making these classes get certified. He needs a huge hand of applause for that one, because without him, that part doesn't happen. So as you look, every single one of these, all these measures, almost 50% increase in kids participating. So we have kids that are getting started. This shows that Running Start isn't needed. We can do all this inside of our school. And I'm pretty confident over the next 2 or 3 years, I think I heard Jill say we had 33 kids full-time running start. My goal is in 2 or 3 years from now to have that be 10 or 15 kids. And that's because there's classes we just don't have at our school that they're going to running start for. And so our goal is to shrink that number. And if those kids are in our building and not at Centralia College, that means I have more teachers on staff to teach those kids that are in my building rather than not in our building. So that's really a big deal. All this data made me really happy. But this is the one that really kind of, and that's why it's the last one. I was just so pleased. I never in a million years expected to see that. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's good. But then I went back and said, well, what did it look like before COVID? And I went, wow. I mean, that just floors me to no end. The last piece, I don't have a data piece to go with the next one, but Ms. Severino, go ahead and go to the next slide. Our business ed teacher, this is her marketing class. So I've added the Warrior Pride logo into all of our slides, and you see that all the time now. Our staff at the beginning of the year before school started, we developed some belief statements based on what we thought about our kids. We gave those statements to her marketing class. They developed what you're about to see. And now they've printed it. We painted the walls over, had the walls painted over spring break, and they've printed them up and they're now applying them to the wall. Go ahead and go to the next slide. So this is going to be, this is just the main hallway close to the office, but on the other hallway, these will go up on the other side as well. This is the first statement. We say, we believe all students have the ability to develop skills to lead a productive life. All right, next one. We believe all students are capable of learning and enjoying all subjects. We believe opportunities to learn and grow are everywhere. And we believe all students have value. And the students did all of these designs, then they brought it to the PBIS team, and they'd have 4 or 5 different mock-ups, and we would say, we want that one, that one, and that one. And then they cleaned them up, and then this is how we ended up here. And is that it? I think that's it, right? Yep. That's all I have.
Janice?
You got a question?
I do, but maybe others do.
Yep. Neil? No?
No,
Go ahead.
A couple things. I think it was Tristan that might have said this a few months ago that they wanted the walls painted. So obviously you did it and these things are were the students part of it or did they?
Well, they were kind of.
Okay.
It's difficult because we didn't want to get paint everywhere and we have 25 kids doing something, it could be a mess. So what happened is the kids and our teachers went around and taped off the whole hallway before spring break. And so it was teachers and students went around and taped everything off. So all Lynn had to do over spring break, and Lynn's awesome. She came in and whipped out the whole thing. And you wouldn't believe, if you haven't been in the building, you need to come look because it looks like a totally different place. Now I want to paint the blue part.
Terrific.
But yeah, no, it totally changed the school, and it kind of lines up with what Kaylin was saying about how it's starting to manifest the positivity in our school, that the hard work that our kids are doing and the combination of our PBIS and just everyone working together to make our school a better place.
My second question is on the special ed kids and the scores, probably for most schools. I know you guys are working on it this year. We won't see the scores till next year. Can you just maybe highlight 1 or 2 things you're doing?
So what we did, and Will kind of pointed in this direction when I was talking, this is my goal. Will's really, I'm going to keep calling Will even though he's not working for us. As I went through and I looked at all the kids, we went back and looked at their 8th grade SBA scores and we said, okay, and we looked at everyone and we kind of said, okay, these are kids we can move. And so we've been really targeting those kids this year, and in their ELA instruction, those are teachers, whether they're in their fundamentals class or if they're in a general ed class, and those teachers are making sure that those kids are understanding the concepts and they're targeting, because that's and it's called UDL, Universal Design for Learning. I'm sure you guys have heard that and all the stuff we do. Even though you direct it, it's kind of you say students with disabilities, but what it does is it provides access for all kids. It's not just kids with students with disabilities. It's kids that are ELL. It's kids that English isn't their first language and they're still learning. And even kids that maybe are general ed, but need assistance. Maybe they can't access the learning the same way. And so UDL has been a huge piece of that. And so that's really what's designed. That's how we're trying to give access to kids content so that they can grow and demonstrate proficiency on the SBA.
Thank you.
Well, did you want to share?
I'm happy to do that. Yeah, absolutely. So
I talked to you guys a couple months back about the work that we've been doing with our MTSS program and the ability to move kids around more quickly in a data-driven way in that first period intervention / enrichment class. And so that has been a major factor in our focus this year, which again goes back to UDL. I mean, it's not just our students who have IEPs, it's all of our students. If they're struggling in an area, we're going to get them some help. And we're not just going to lock them into one place for the year or for half the year. We're going to move them around and get them help as they need it. The other thing that we've been doing with our students with disabilities is we're giving them significantly greater access to gen ed classes with some supports. And so we think that it makes sense to us that getting them access to grade level content area with the scaffolding and the help that they need is more likely to help them to show proficiency on grade level things. So when they're in places where they're not going to see grade level things are going to shock them when that's a test. So there you go.
Thank you.
Oh, you went, that's right. He looked at my numbers and told me what mine were. I stopped the office. I said, I'll take care of that when I get back to the office. And of course, Osby decides, oh, we're doing maintenance on this site. So I couldn't go access any of my data. So I was supposed to have stickies, but I didn't get them because that website was down.
And it's still down.
It's still down.
Friday afternoon.
Yeah, ready to.
Still up Friday.
But don't worry.
And we're supposed to do our
emails are due.
evaluations and have them done by the 15th.
Here we go.
I'll do my best.
I'll do my best.
I have a question. Well,
Sure.
probably the morning, probably. When you leave, is our new principal going to be dialed into all the work?
I will do everything I can and everything that the new principal and my current superintendent want me to do to help get them to speed.
Okay, and we're gonna continue this then.
We are going to continue to work.
I know it's working
That's-
at the high school study.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can, so what we've done is we've identified, so every week we do grade checks. Thursday, our staff looks at it Friday through Monday. Any kid that has a DRF can get pulled to another teacher's class during advisory to go get work done. So Tuesdays and Wednesdays and once a month, they get a reward. What do you guys get?
Ice cream sandwich.
They got ice cream sandwiches. So if you have all C's or higher, you go to the gym during Tuesday and Wednesday. And once a month, there's a reward for those kids who are doing well in school. And so that's what we do. And so they get to go to the gym, they get to play basketball, volleyball, whatever they want to do. They can just sit and talk with their friends. It's the one time they're permitted to have their phones out and no one's going to say a word to them in our day. Any other time of the day, you're going to get nailed for having your phone out. But during the reward time, that's a privilege you get to have. So yeah, we're gonna continue as well, and I'll support them at our new staff at the middle school for whatever I can do to support them. Because I agree, my daughter's had a couple of cycles through the improvement program at the middle school, and it's made all the difference for her.
When is the time where the 8th graders come to the high school?
We're gonna do a day right at, I think it was like that last week of school, right? So I think it's just after our seniors get out. It's gonna be like Thursday or Friday, because last year we had a couple days past the seniors being gone. This year we got one day, and we can't bring them over on the last day of school because they're doing the promotion. But we'll bring them over right at the beginning of June. And then we're gonna do we're with the Gear Up team, we're working on building trying to build towards a day-long program, so just being a couple hours in August. I'm not exactly sure how much we're gonna actually get to do, but we're gonna have them over twice so that they get to be in the building and see things. We talk to them, they get to meet students. We kind of and Q&A with them and help them kind of get comfortable. I've been going over once a week since before spring break at the 8th grade lunch and just going around talking to kids and sitting at the tables and getting to know them so they get to know me. And so when they come, I already have started building a relationship with these guys. And
You had a ton of kids in 9th grade family night.
we had
Well, that was gonna be my next question. So
It was packed.
It was, they got a ton of kids.
do we emphasize, I should say, do you emphasize the get to school? In that one, I'm just asking about when that is first started. Hey, parents, you need to make sure your kids are at school.
we do.
People. Preschool.
Everybody, I'm really looking forward. I think as we move forward, I know the primary and elementary have been doing a great job, and I think all this concerted effort we're making is gonna start building, and I think we're gonna see an increase in all of our data, based on the work they're doing down below. It's just gonna take some time to filter through. I don't know that I'll actually be here long enough.
What?
I've got 8 years. I don't know that I'll get to see it all the way to the end, but I feel really good about where we'll be. I gotta wait till my daughter's out of college.
The one that's in middle school.
The one, the older one's already out. Yeah, so no, if you guys would keep me, I'll stay as long as you'll let me. Because I think we have a really good team, and I think all of our schools are doing amazing work. So I'm really excited to see as these kids move through and we stop having to say, well, they were at this spot in COVID. It's just going to be, this is where, now we can see this was when they were RPS. You can see this is, you can tell we'll be able to really start seeing those tire marks spinning out, because I think we're going to really skyrocket here over the next few years as the district academically. I didn't say your stuff to that.
No. Good evening. I'm going to talk about data as well. So our WSIF data, here you go. Okay, bluer is better, right? But there's no blue on this one, but that's okay. This is 2 years ago data. And what we see here is that our American Indian, Alaska Native, our ELL students and our students with disabilities all fell at or below the all schools identification threshold. That's the one that Mr. Theonis was just talking about. This is where our state feels that we should be. The line just below it is a Title I identification threshold, and that is where we would fall because we are a Title I school. So it's a little lower, but still our students with disability are at that identification threshold. Kick to the next year. Oh, goodness gracious. Look at that blue there. This is amazing. So all of our areas grew. All of our students grew by almost 1.5. Our 2 or more races grew by 2. More than 2. Our white students grew by more than 1. The Hispanic Latino, 1 in 3.5 or 1.35. And then our low income grew by a point, our ELLs by a point, and our students with disabilities. That put us above both of those threshold lines. So amazing work right there.
Amazing.
Amazing. My heart rate's going off. All right, let's get to the next one and then we'll come back to this one. All right, this is the beautiful work that's being done at Grand Mound Elementary, both by our students and our teachers, everyone involved. Looking at our trajectory, we are staircasing in every area across the board. I'm just so proud of this data. This is our 22 to 24 growth. And you can see like our two or more races in those 2 years, 3.59. We have multiple that are above 2 points growth in those 3 years right there. Yes, so I'm excited to see this next year as well. And I hope that it is showing growth with me as the leader this year. I'm hoping and I plan that we will still see that growth being made next year. Now we can go back to that. Yeah. So what does that data show? That all groups have improved. Our biggest gain is in that 2 or more races group of 2.18. Our students with disabilities and ELL learners, they've improved, but that's definitely still areas of improvement that needs to be done. And then the 2024 scores placed all of our groups, like I mentioned, above that threshold. So like Mr. Theona said, though they will remember us at Grand Mound Elementary, we're hoping that we don't need their support and guidance and that we can direct the work that our students are doing. So with that fun, I might need some help
Well.
putting our.
Look at this new team.
So our
This is my
Hispanic,
AP, by the way.
when he gets next year. So our,
I don't upset for our rate like she is right now.
I'll let you know. Our Hispanic and Latino math 9 points. Our 2 or more racist ELA grew by 9 points. Or
Got a room on 9.
our 2 or more racist math growth, 10. Our white ELA, 7. Our low income math, 7. I'm gonna hold this off. Our all students ELA growth, 7. Our all students math, 8. Our Hispanic Latino students, 7. And though we were talking about 7 and higher, this next one I thought was amazing growth that was happened. And this is, I can reach this one. But this is our students with disabilities. And in ELA, they had a 6 of growth. So they're kicking booty in all professional ways. So the growth at Grand Mound is clearly evident, and by that stair-stepping data graph, it's just going upward. And so very proud of the work that's being done at Grand Mountain. So that's my academic piece. Okay. All right. And then my non-academic celebration that I was going to share is that over the past few years, we've noticed the needs that students are having, and it goes beyond the academic needs that they're needing. And some of that is coming with those sensory needs needing to be met. And so what's been created at Grand Mound Elementary we have 2 sensory rooms. And this is a place where students can go. They have scheduled breaks. Like we identify those students like, okay, Jimmy is having difficult at noon. We need to find him a time to come in, be able to reset and be prepared and successful the rest of the day. So we might schedule him at 11 o'clock and they come in, for their scheduled breaks, they get 10 minutes at a time. Their routines when they come in, so that's what the using the sensory room is. They check in, they choose the activity. I'm gonna walk over to the board if that's okay, I'm a pointer. They have this menu of items that they can use. They're either out in the open, like we have exercise ball, we have a tent, we have this really neat light fixture, we have puzzles, but they choose what they want to do. They do that for 10 minutes. And then we do a check-in and check-out. And what that looks like is when they come into the sensory room, they acknowledge how they're feeling right now. Like, am I stressed? Am I a little escalated? Or, you know, is their lid about to flip? Or is their lid closed and they're ready for learning? So we acknowledge that. And then after they spend that time doing whatever chosen activity, before they go back to class, they get to tell us, all right, how are you feeling now? And then they acknowledge how they're feeling. And then it sets them up and they head back to class. And so this is something new that has been created. And my favorite, if you guys need a place to come and hang out, my favorite place is by the lamp in that rocking chair. Oh, it is just, the lights are down, so there's not the overhead lights, but it is just a relaxing environment. There's snacks in there, there's anything that they can eat. So. Thank you. Fine, thank you. No kidding. I'm going before you ask questions. Do you have any questions?
No. Good.
Yeah.
What difference has this made? Are there less behavioral issues afterwards or?
We still have our behaviors because one of the expectations is that's not a place that they come in when they are escalated. This is to be proactive and try to beat that. And so we still have behaviors, but they are less because we're being proactive and meeting that need beforehand.
So that's scheduled, like certain students have it every day,
Yes.
or, so it's
Yeah.
not like if a teacher has a student and they see that they're maybe doing this.
It could be that as well. So we started slow so that we could make sure we had enough manpower to provide that support. And so some are scheduled. Like I have times on my calendar that I go in and I support students, or if like I will just see a kid who might like, okay, he's not quite, or he or she is not quite escalated. Do you want to go check out the break room? And then if I see that works, then conversations happen like, hey, this really worked out for them. Is this something that we could put into their day? And so
How long has this been going on?
this has been going maybe about 2 months.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, slowly. We don't want to go too fast and then, what went wrong? But
I think we saw this from Yakima or some of the districts at Wasden years past. They seem to really feel it was helping.
so next month, you guys are going to be in a treat because, or have a treat coming to you because Jessica Whitehead and Laura Staley are going to be presenting on the sensory rooms. And so I just wanted to touch on it, but they're going to do a huge presentation for you guys. Thank you.
So you've heard from the three principals so far, and they've all spoke to the WSIF scores, which are definitely celebrations that we need to acknowledge and celebrate, not just our leaders, but all of our teachers. These scores really do take all the things that are happening in our schools, our achievement, our growth, our attendance, our graduation rates. I'm forgetting one other thing. On track to graduate.
WIDA scores.
High school, and what was that?
WIDA scores.
WIDA scores, WIDA scores for ML. They take all of those different components and put it together for the scores that have been shared with you. Now, Ms. Stearns this year does not have any scores from WSIF to show you because they haven't devised a method to pull scores together for TK or PK through second grade. They're working on it, but I will say.
That's not me.
The state of Washington.
State.
The state, yes, not.
It's not by choice.
That's right. But I will say that I know in talking to Ms. Stearns quite a bit that she takes ownership in all of these scores, and without the work that's going on at the primary, we wouldn't see a lot of success happening later on. So I just wanted to preface why she's not going to share with you. It's not because she's hiding anything.
I wore black because I'm the black sheep. Apparently, no. So Dr. Bethman asked to share 2 academic celebrations. So Will, I may have you create a sticky note for me at some point to put somewhere on. We'll figure that out. But one of the ones I wanted to bring to you is just highlighting our dual language classrooms. Next year, we will be a full dual language school, having dual language offered at every grade level K2, which is so exciting to see. They went to Mr. Ramirez and Miss Ensley, who've been doing this the longest, this is year 2, and said, how are you measuring SLA? How are we measuring the Spanish language arts acquisition of the kids that are working through the program? And so the visual support is what she's given me here about the stages of SLA development, from the sonidas to the syllabus to the palabras, keeps going. But one on the side here, she's added Spanish reading foundational skills start out by students learning all the letter sounds in the Spanish alphabet. And the Spanish alphabet is easier interpreted than the English alphabet because most of their letters only make one sound. Phonemic awareness is taught daily. Students are segmenting and blending Spanish syllables to form words. And then step 3, they're decoding and encoding. So the kindergartners are reading and writing. And this takes place after students have mastered the first 2 steps and are able to read, write, speak, listen to words and phrases in Spanish. It's happening in kindergarten right now. And it's amazing. So I wanted to share some of the data and some other pieces, but the next slide is actually some kids in action. And I'm hopeful those videos will come up and you'll be able to see. But in the first video, they have during the lectura workshop or the reading workshop in the Spanish language arts class, they segment words into 2 syllables. And that's the video, the first one there, that shows students in the lectura workshop at the teacher station. And they're playing a hands game, and they need to recognize the vocabulary term Chile and segment it into its 2 syllabes, Chile. And you can play that video. It's pretty sweet. They're just cute little clips.
Good.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, go bigger and
Let's try that again.
thank you, Mr. Black. They were able to find both of the spelling patterns for those 2 spoken syllables, which is amazing. And they are connecting it to what a Chile is. So the vocabulary piece, and this is our very talented EA, Mrs. Mejia, who is Spanish speaking and does a lot of our Spanish workshops in the classrooms. Step 2 here is blending syllables into words. So students at this workshop rotation, you're good. They're blending syllables in order to read high frequency words. That's a native English speaker. That's kindergarten. And that's in Spanish. It's so cool. Decoding, roll and read Spanish words. So student is asked to roll and read the Spanish words on this page. At this station, they work on pronunciation and rolling of the R's. I'm still working on it. Native English speakers. He just read a whole column of Spanish words. And if you ask them what the meaning of those words are, most of the time they're able to let you know in the English language. So daily students participate in these workshops. They have 5 different rotations in Mrs. Ramirez's class. There's teacher-led activities and then opportunities for students to apply the Spanish reading foundational skills. So the next slide is where she keeps her data. Oh, no, this one is, she's very proud of the work that they're doing. Most of these kids have met their phonemic awareness goal, which was their student growth goal this year in Spanish language arts. They all mastered their letter sounds. So every kid in her class knows every Spanish letter and their sounds. And most students are blending and segmenting into reading in Spanish. And this is their hallway bulletin board. At the end of the year, they put all the kids' faces up and this is how they've grown. It's beautiful. But her chart of data will show you. Next slide. This is how she tracks students' names have been retracted from the left side, but across the top in the Estrellita section, the students are learning their letter sounds. And then in the Haggerty section, they're learning the phonemic awareness in Spanish. And you can see how she can easily track which kids need what skill and how she can then pull them into her small group to meet that need. But it's a very sophisticated tracking system that they've created. And it's a beautiful thing to see happen. So if you want to come read or listen to kids read in Spanish, it's awesome. This is continued into first grade. In fact, the first grade teachers were telling me today, in UFly, in the English classroom that Mrs. Troutman teaches, the students are spelling words using the vowel team or whatever pattern of spelling they've learned that week in a series of words. The kids that are challenging themselves are actually writing that word in English and saying, I know what this word is in Spanish. I'm going to write it over here for you. She's brought in 5 or 6 of their papers where they're writing them in English and Spanish. Even though they don't have the vowel team that's being presented in English, they're challenging themselves. So it's been really cool. The next one, I will also celebrate, and I know my 5 minutes is over because my watch buzzed, but first grade tier 2. Tier 2 supports in ELA have been a big focus for us this year in the phonics area. And our first grade at the beginning of this year had many things to say about the challenges coming in with this year's class. And are we going to get here? Are we going to be able to do this? And it was so awesome. During our leadership team meeting, Jen Billings, one of the first grade teachers, said, I have a celebration. And she said they had just put together their tier 2 groups for the final cycle of intervention, and the kids are performing higher than they have in years that they've seen at second grade. And I said, tell me more. And they said only 37 students in the last session of intervention are receiving tier 2 small group instruction. And that's only 23% of the students. So in a typical model of intervention supports, you would want 80% of your students achieving with just core instruction and 20% needing more. So it's right about where we need to be. 8 students are at skill 2, which this might not have as much meaning to you, but the skills progress from skill 1 through skill 9. Skill 5 is where we want them to be by this point that they were measuring in first grade. But 8 kids were in skill 2, 4 were in skill 2, 7 were in skill 3. So 6 are very close to getting to skill 5, and 11 were skill 5, but we chose to keep them in the tier 2 section because they needed a little bit more work. But 109 students at grade level as measured by this measurement. It was a huge celebration for the team, and we celebrated as a staff. And I just wanted to show you, we may not have all the components that go into WISF scores, but we are tracking and managing our data at our school, making sure that our students are making significant gains in all academic areas. And this year, reading has really been our focus. The last celebration is a non-academic celebration, the RPS Running Club. Our third goal is to lessen the number of referrals for students not being safe on our campus. When Ms. Fragner launches the running club, it's an unintended outcome. But our referral data plummets. We have maybe 2 recess referrals each week. It's amazing. These kids get out there, yours included, and they run. Emerson Kernet has run like 10 laps a day and he comes in, he's just, oh my goodness. But they are enjoying this. It brings the whole school together. They all want to get their laps in. The bottom left, Mrs. Kernet and I, for Read Across America, we're Nugget and Dog, and we're in our Nugget and Dog costumes, and we go out every once in a while and make a guest appearance. It's like you're in Disneyland. So if you ever want to wear a costume at recess time, the kids will flock to you. They will, oh, you're here. But we walk with them. They get lots of laps in. Ms. Fragner reveals how many miles they've run every Friday, and we're at 6,352 miles as of last Friday. So those track numbers, maybe the number of students participating in track has something to do with how they're doing at RPS. But the top right is a really sweet story. This little guy has overcome a lot of obstacles, and he's set a lot of goals with Mr. Lalonde this year, and they have really bonded over exercise and running. And he got his shirt, which is in 2 languages, their English and Spanish. It's bilingual. And he wanted me to take their picture on the playground the other day, but so excited to meet their goals. So the cell component of teaching kids to make goals and then earning them and celebrating that has been pretty impactful as well. So it's just a really great time. If you come over at lunch recess, you can walk some laps with the kids and they love them. But that is RPS Running Club. And the other thing I wanted to say is, Mr. Moss, you were talking about you wanting your English language learner students to come back and teach at RPS.
No, did not say.
Yeah, you said RPS. You said RSC.
Yes.
Yes, that's what we want. As our dual language program grows, we want our students to come back and teach here. So I need some sticky notes and I'll put some up here to make it look pretty. But do you have any questions for me? SLA, I get the only SLA sticky note, I'm pretty sure.
Will, I think you need to give her a 10.
I don't have
And then you gotta put it up there.
You're really gonna test my skills. All right, well, thank you. I'll get it up there by the end of the meeting. Probably this.
Get it up there sooner.
Oh.
You're not reaching
Up top.
Please don't sit on the seat.
There you go. Thank you.
All right, I just have a few things for you tonight. Next up. All right, first of all, last week there was Bus Driver Appreciation Day, and under Candace Robinson's leadership, one of our teachers, our ML teacher actually at RPS, she really spearheads the recognition for our bus drivers. She made sure every bus driver had a gift card and they got a bag of cookies with a little note. There's thank you notes out at transportation. You see all of our bus drivers there, just appreciating being appreciated. But we really do thank them a lot because, our kids wouldn't make it to school without our bus drivers. And not many of us would choose to drive a bus every day. But they do it. They do it with a smile on their face, and the kids love their bus drivers. So definitely a day to set aside and notice our bus drivers. Kindergarten information night. So Danny and her team had a wonderful kindergarten information night a week and a half ago.
April 22nd.
Yep. And not all of our incoming kindergartners came, but some of our students who had not yet registered came, which was good. But the kids got to come in and they had different stations to go to. They got to meet many different staff members. They walked in initially, and you can see kind of in that middle picture there, they could go and have dinner. So they got chicken nuggets and an apple that you have to grab with tongs.
You have to hold.
It's hard. And they have to carry their tray flat with their milk on it and their chicken nuggets and everything. So it's kind of the first, here's what lunch looks like. But then they move from there into moving around the building and having different activities that they can engage in. And learn more about what kindergarten is going to be like. And Danny and her team just did a wonderful job putting that on for the families. So thank you. And we are still looking for kindergartners. So if you know any, please make sure they register. And now, we want them to register now. Spring sports. Kaylin did a really good job of sharing some things with about spring sports. Our teams are having a great season, a really good season. Like she said, softball's ranked #1 in the Evergreen Conference. The girls' golf is finishing up the season next Monday, and they're going to move on to districts. The soccer team, it was put very nicely in that they're kicking butt, and they're with a winning season of 11 wins. The baseball team, they have a chance to be league champs this year. And the track team is having a great season with many PRs, as Kaylin shared, and I think she's one of those with a few PRs. But really, again, just having a great season and with aspirations from that track team of many kids going to state and being able to compete at state. So we've talked about a lot of our other sports seasons having really good seasons. Our spring, I think every single one of our spring teams is having a really successful season this year, which is exciting. Gear Up trip. So this is the first of many. This was a small trip, but it was kind of nice to start small so that we could take a small group and our new Gear Up leaders could learn how to do a field trip. But these kids were from the middle school during conference week. They, on the half day when they weren't in school, they went and they visited Centralia College. And the kids came back really excited about the trip and learned a lot and had the opportunity to, get to see a little bit about what it would look like to go to Centralia College. The high school kids are also taking the trip or took.
They just did it.
They just did it and they went to.
Centralia College, and there's another one set up to go to Western in mid-May.
Okay, so we've got trips going with our kids to get them out to visit different places and see what different opportunities are going to be there. We will visit colleges and we'll also be visiting tech schools and different opportunities for kids. So it's just the start, but our Gear Up team's doing a lot of good work and getting things set up, especially for next year. Future Business Leaders of America, FBLA, we've mentioned a little bit about what FBLA was doing in the hallways at the high school. Last weekend, I think it was, or maybe, I think it was last weekend, they went to state competition. There was 8 students who went and they had a very successful trip. We had, I'm gonna forget her name now, Brooklyn Lee is the one who placed 9th. And she in insurance and risk management. So imagine that, right? She's waiting to hear, she's an alternate for state, so she might be heading to state. And then
Lizette Minnigan.
There we go, Lizette. She ran for the vice president for our region and is going to be one of, the first FBLA student from Rochester to represent our region as a vice president for FBLA. So very exciting. She'll be doing that for all of next school year. Here are the dates for the plant sale that was mentioned earlier. Starts tomorrow, 3 o'clock tomorrow, and then 8 to 5 on both Friday and Saturday. If you want the best plants, I suggest you go tomorrow. Our website. Our website has been updated and Justin's going to take just a few minutes to show you a little bit around the website. Justin and Andrea have done a ton of work on getting this all set up, and now our buildings are also doing a ton of work on making it live and full of great information.
And I want to say 95% of this is Andrea. All right, so I think the move to the new website is I think just right out of the gate when you jump on it, I think it just kind of jumps and pops real quick. So we have the galleries. So every school building has galleries. Andrea's grabbed some pictures, make sure she represents all of the schools on the district page, but every school building page looks similar. Okay, so you have a similar similar look across all the buildings. Notice we have quick buttons to the quick things that typically people will need when they come to the district versus each building also, they also have some buttons as well specific to the buildings. Right below that first set of buttons, you'll notice what we now have as live feed. So these would be the quick short hit, like social media type pieces. This platform allows us to, in one fell swoop, Andrea can post on the website, post to Facebook, post to Instagram, and send an email of this thing all out to parents and everybody at the same time, rather than doing an email separate from a Facebook, separate from an Instagram, separate from a website. So it's a time savings. And the way it expands and we're able to use some nice pictures and things, it looks pretty good, and it's all mobile receptive. And everything on the website translates to any English that any parent sets their mobile sets website to. Okay. So it will translate all of these things into all 200 languages that Google translates. Just below that, we have the event stuff. So all the calendars, we have calendars feeding in from all the buildings in the district here. And then we have the news stories. And so these are just a little bit longer than what we have the live feed. And you can see we have Mr. Callahan on here as well as during Appreciation Week. So if you ever have news stories get added, those as well can be pushed out to multiple places at the same time. So they're not just static here, but we can push that because most people aren't going to go hunting for news stories. We'll need to make them aware of some things, right? And then as we go down, oh, look at those spotlights. We have this area of spotlights down here. Just so you know, that is the best smile Will's had in 18 years in school pictures. So that's one we chose to use. So I think actually it cracked a little bit up there, and that's about as good as it gets. So Kelsey's is pretty normal too. So but once we jump in, Andrea's been working hard. We'll be changing these links up here at the top, depending on the time of year. Right now, we have lots of people wanting the academic calendar, not really for this year, but typically for next year. You know, bus routes are a big one and buses, but then we can jump in. You can see, you can just quickly jump out to another building, okay? Or if you need to get in deeper and really start looking for stuff, you can really start looking deep.
Just the one, if you want to know what athletic events are happening for the week, is that?
So, yeah, so if I'm gonna go in, I would say there's really two ways, because the way we set it up is we have calendars going on. So you'll notice in the events, right, we have added, so RHF athletic events. And so once we get to a middle school one, then there's the middle school one right there. So it's actually fairly quick to get in and start looking at those things. We can also just go and Michael, click on the see all events, right? And then if we not list view,
The scroll.
calendar view, but I want to go to.
Yeah.
There's a way to do this, Andrea. And just look at the athletics.
Click on Varsity Athletics button on the homepage.
On the homepage.
Down below, quick button, RSD Athletics.
Oh, look at that. See what she did with the phone?
And then you just hit a link to the athletic schedule.
I should ask you.
You should have. There you go.
Then you, yeah, then you can get.
Yeah, hit the calendar.
So there's pretty much something every day. If you just show up to the high school. There's an event going, especially baseball, fast pitch and track right now. There's.
Been enjoying pickup time.
Yeah. There is almost like, there was no parking yesterday. There was a middle school meet. Chehalis doesn't transport via bus, so their parents transport. They have 117 track. So between baseball was there. Fast pitch, I believe, played at home yesterday. Middle school track meet with 3 other teams, and there was no parking.
And
At the high
Grand Mountain
Yeah.
parent pickup.
And Grand Mountain Park,
We
yeah.
had people coming, trying to park at the high school, like you can, but you'll be in this line for probably 15 minutes before you get
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, so, but it's busy right now over there in the afternoons.
That's awesome. That's really good. I'm sure the other one has like the band stuff and all the rest of the activities.
Yes.
And they're printable. You can just print them off and
Yes.
put in your fridge.
So who maintains
That's
this?
great.
That Andrea or?
Andrea and the building secretaries for the most part.
Okay, so it's not just one person, because that would be a lot.
Not, yeah, yes, it is, it is. So-
Andrea's monitoring it all because we have to monitor to make sure it's all kind of happening the same
Right.
way. We want it to look similar. So there's a lot of kind of working together to make sure it looks like.
And that's a big improvement from before. I've looked before and been frustrated.
So the other thing is you can come into the calendar, and if you have your own calendar, you can actually click on event and then add it to your own calendar via Google. So you can schedule it in your own calendar as well. Okay, so that's an added feature. So
Does it change if there's a change?
I don't know. I'll let you know.
Need to rate out the game first to find out. Or That's it.
No.
You know, iCal usually doesn't for me. in-
Yeah.
Actually, you know, it
in
does.
first Place.
Yeah.
My iCal
Because
doesn't.
Yeah, probably.
that game on Saturday the 3rd was supposed to occur last Thursday, I believe, and Hope Williams' team bus for soccer got in an accident and couldn't get
Oh,
here.
no.
And that game was moved to Saturday the 3rd. So I think it pulled, as soon as Kevin makes the change in Arbor,
Yeah.
which is where it pulled it
Right,
from.
but I don't know if you added to your calendar.
On my calendar,
Yes,
if I-
they are. They are connected to Google Calendar. So, yep, so it is nice. So we are still learning some pieces of it, but it has been I think amazingly easy for Andrea to train up secretaries and for her to make changes and shifts without, none of us here write HTML code very well, with the exception of John Judd. And so this just makes it really easy. The training from the company has just been spot on. The customer service is great. We have a weekly 30-minute meeting with, I didn't think was gonna be enough time with them. And it is more than enough time with them. And they just give us little snippets and we're processing better and understanding pieces better because of it. Yes, and because of this, some other things we're putting under this umbrella, we're gonna be able to cut 3 other contracts with 3 other vendors and overall save ourselves $7,000 a year. Yes, so that is the website. Go click around. Okay,
Yeah.
Get the app.
get the app. Jen?
All right, last thing is just upcoming events. You can tell it's the end of the year. We're starting to have lots of things on the calendar. If you'd like to go and participate with families in the dual language night, that's on May 6th. I think it starts at 5 o'clock and I can check that time. There's a board work section on the 14th. We have a board meeting on the 28th. We test in May, so that's why there's not a lot of evening things. We're focused on making sure our kids are getting through their assessments and our schedules are not, but there's actually a lot of athletic events in May as well. So if you're looking for evening things, there's plenty to do, even though they're not on the calendar there. May 29th is highly capable program family night. That's at GMES. May 29th, there's a band concert at the middle school. On the 5th, we've got senior awards night at 6:30 p.m. I think somebody in the room is planning on being there. Heart graduation is at 6 o'clock on June 6th. Then we have the high school graduation on June 8th. And our last day of school is June 9th. So things are moving along really fast.
So is a high school doing a fundraiser at a location? A concert?
Sure.
Oh,
Does anybody know about?
are you talking, okay, this was brought up by one of my staff members, I think, like a wrestling
No, was that
at
like
the
a?
high school,
And that one, we're not, that's,
where that came from.
yeah, we're,
Okay.
yeah.
I know.
I think
It's in
It was
tonight, though.
band,
yeah.
Jazz band.
I saw something
Yeah.
or something about a jazz band.
Oh, yeah, jazz band at Trino.
Is it a fundraiser or just a?
I believe it is, it's a night with jazz.
I can get you information.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, that's our the high school jazz band.
That's a high-
Booster is putting that on.
Oh, okay, so it's by boosters, okay.
I will send you information about that one. All right. Are we,
Excellent.
before you let people go, can I have a picture of the principals? next to the
Yeah.
tower. I think I need to have a
go.
picture of that. And then we can let them go.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right.
Last time I said, hey, they could go, that was already too late.
I would love a picture of you guys together in front of the tower there.
Well, was this your idea for the tower?
Of course, yes.
It wasn't mine.
Will is the king of Post-its.
Yeah. Creative. idea.
Careful, careful.
You must love that commercial that there's a Post-it note.
But you don't as often.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of.
I
Mine too, I got a. But I read it down, I don't remember it.
The paper.
Non-standard units of measurement.
Are we gonna do it, so it looks like an AT&T commercial, or do you wanna do it?
All right, move.
That means I-
Little, like, yeah. Very-
I don't know how I'm supposed to put my knees.
Don't put it up on the table.
Ready, 1, 2, 3, hold on.
I feel like you should go this.
Do you?
Yeah, no, not.
No,
Facebook.
website doesn't work that way.
It works for Instagram.
But I did do it that way already. All right, cool, thank you.
You'll know my
Why don't you let the Kool-Aid guy-
You can leave it here.
Okay, I need.
You can take. what you
I need 5.
You want the other 5?
Yeah, are you gonna bring them to my car, Kevin?
Is that a hot commodity, those boxes?
Yeah, they were like, I need 5 of them, nice, but.
Yeah, people have already claimed these.
I did moving boxes.
Have a good night, you guys.
Thanks, everyone.
You have those things here.
I have no.
You have
Oh,
those things.
Have a good night.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Adios.
Thank you. Doing great.
Okay. New business. Overnight trip request.
This is the the girls' basketball team.
Waco.
They're going to Waco? June 16.
June 16 to Waco for an overnight trip. Playing basketball.
Tournament.
Tournament?
She's here and you could bring her up.
Yeah. Why?
Or we could just talk like we're not having room.
They're waiting for a while.
Your accept my paperwork was the most thorough it's seen. But I don't mind touching on it, that's why I'm here. So it's a B&B camp held over a 3-long-day span where basically the girls get to play a bunch of games. Basketball, full court, as well as, you know, some just skill-based competitions amongst other schools. If you look at our season, it's really easy to be discouraged as a whole if you're just going by scoreboard. That being said, we're a very inexperienced group of girls. Lots of freshmen, so not only inexperienced, but just young, they haven't had that. So I want to try to get them out and get them exposed this summer because, you know, it's when you're trying to do that exposure in season, things just don't go our way. The nice thing is they're eager and they want to learn, like they are so excited for this potential opportunity. You know, I kind of already threw it out there. So the numbers are there. They're more than excited for things like this. And I'm an alumni of Rochester High School. I remember doing these things and these sometimes meant more to me than wins or losses. Those are where memories get built. And when you have fun and you build those memories, girls want to come out regardless of what the scoreboard says. And that's my goal is to build numbers, build experience. And, you know, maybe not next year, but in a year or two, hopefully the scoreboard starts reflecting those kind of things. So essentially we go for these 3 days, play lots of games. It's the price includes food and lodging. They get to stay in the classroom. So it's team bonding on site, stay in the classroom, play games when you're not playing games. School feeds you, you know, I've asked for a little bit extra so that we can go out and do some team bonding experiences. We're not playing games, hit up the beach.
have some ice cream, play a game of mini golf, maybe a round of go-karts. Again, it's all about building memories while we build our skills.
You got 12 girls going with you?
That's the goal. I've had verbal commitment. It's all about, it's on your hands now. That's where I leave it.
So is there room for more if more want to go?
I would like to say yes. I have willing volunteers. It's just about getting approval. You know, I've requested for 12, but I know there's interest. If more people wanted to say, I'm sure we could find the room. It'd be, you know, it'd require another driver and it'd require another van. But I can tell you right now, I have people who are willing to step up and do that. So,
And we would make it happen if you.
so yes, to answer your question, yes. It might just also require a little bit more money.
So is this money coming from ASB? Is that how it's paid for?
This is ASB and the kids doing.
No,
fundraisers.
this is special projects.
There you go.
So, yeah, it comes out of what the girls, ASB, but it's specifically like the girls have fundraised to be able to do events like
I
this.
see, okay.
And, you know, we've been very fortunate in what we've been able to earn through our fundraising efforts.
Thanks for what you've done to make it happen.
Are we ready to move?
Aye.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve? So move. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any further discussions? No further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed? The motion is passed.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good night.
Okay. Robotics.
So this
Same,
is, this,
just the one they,
yeah, these are the two kids who are going to nationals in Georgia, end of June, middle of June. And then the next one is our the drones kids that are going.
In Walden.
Oh, sorry.
There's
The first one is robotics and drones. The second one is weldings. Because for the first time, we've had welding kids that are going to nationals for welding.
So this application is for,
Oh, so I think this is not listed right, is it?
It
They
says
both
right.
submitted
Georgia.
separate, both, but our description.
Advisors.
I don't see where it says welding.
That's the last one on
C.
C.
C is welding. That one was submitted by Mr. Jeske, who's the welding coach, and then he is submitted by Mr. Goose. Just didn't submit together.
Oh, okay, yeah, never mind. My bad. I missed that.
Righty,
All I thought was the urban search and rescue.
yeah.
so they're all going to the same place? I'm a little bit
Yes.
confused.
Yep.
They are.
They're all going to
Yes, the
Georgia.
competition for all of those are in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, and how many are going according to this?
7.
Yes, there's 3 welding and 2 for drones and 2 for robotics, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is the same, the money comes from the ASB special projects, is that right?
It's from their accounts, but you have discontinued, so right?
That's correct.
Are they still using some of the money that was donated when they lost everything? Is that all been spent out or that's still up in their lane?
So just out of curiosity, we never asked the students to pay. They fundraised to do this.
Mhm. And we make sure the kids can go. We
Can-
don't want them not to be able to go.
Right, okay.
So I would recommend that the first motion is for the robotics and drones, and then your second one is for the welding team to attend.
Yeah, that's also what we're doing.
Yeah.
We need to vote on both of them, right?
Yep, please. Mhm.
Okay, all right. So we need a motion for the first one.
Yep.
Okay, so can I have a motion to approve for the robotics and drones?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussions? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No opposed. The motion is passed. So now, and then, welding, is it just
welding.
Just welding, okay. So, do I have a motion to approve for welding trip?
So move.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussions? No discussions, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed, the motion is passed.
I see those new welding tables worked out well. About 3 years ago, we got those new tables for them. Surplus the old ones.
Has everybody looked at everybody who needs to look at this calendar already looked at it and
This is the one we looked at where we needed to make some corrections, but corrections have all been made, and so it follows our second, so we're talking about the next agenda item, which is a school board meeting schedule for 25-26 school year. And this follows our normal pattern of the second and fourth Wednesdays of every month, with the exception of November. Well, October 1st, because we have a work day on October 4th. On Saturday, so we don't have,
Oh, that won't be on my birthday this year.
okay,
I can tell you that right now.
so that might be a date we're gonna look at.
Football season. I'm sorry.
So we'll look at the October 4th, but that's the work session. And then the next area in December or in November, we only have one business meeting. We don't have a work session because of the WASDA conference. And then in December, we only have one business meeting. Everything else goes second and fourth Wednesday until we get to April. And in April, it's on the third and fifth Wednesday. Just because we have spring break on the second Wednesday.
When you talk about calendar, I was thinking of the school calendar because 2 years ago, they started school on. They're supposed to start school after
Oh, after
Labor
Labor
Day.
Day.
something happened. I don't remember. Anyway,
Are the dates wrong?
The dates are correct.
Was is gonna be in Spokane again? It was last year.
Yep, it goes back and forth.
We weren't in.
well, it says on here, it says
We weren't in Bellevue
It-
last year.
it. Yeah, it
Did you?
I looked it up and that's.
says Spokane.
Yeah. Should be in Bellevue. We were in Spokane last
It
year,
would be nice if it's about you.
where it felt like it was here though. It's nice and rainy.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve? So moved. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any further discussions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No opposed, the motion is passed.
Okay. Yep. Mr. Nelson, did you want to talk tonight?
No, my presence speaks enough.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, with that being said then. Oh, wait a sec, no. We got a.
An exec session?
Yeah, don't we have an exec?
That's, yeah, we're good.
Oh, okay, oh, I thought we had to leave, come back.
We'll, no, we're.
Okay.
So we do need to see if there's any public comment. I don't know if there's anybody online.
No.
Okay.
Okay, meeting is adjourned at 20:13.